everyone. Thanks for joining us here in the Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko with you, along with Tariq, Spence.
I've moved over to the Knicks season, and I'm excited again, all over again, like a Sabres fan.
Oh, we love it when you're excited.
Yeah, it's always great.
Matt Duffy, 82 with the Sabres.
Well, everyone knows this is the game-worn 100th anniversary 2017 year of defenseman Nathan Beaulieu.
Of course.
I mean, come on. And the Sabres playing great right now. Got, 6 out of 8 points on their West Coast early trip. I'm feeling great right now.
Yeah, which is supposed to be tough, right?
Yeah, no, not for the Sabres, apparently.
Very good. Hey, one of my favorite shows of the year, sort of an annual event, the hand-wringing after the New York Yankees get eliminated from the baseball playoffs.
That means
as a Mets fan, what's your slant on this?
It's great. I get to wear my Mets gear again. I mean, you just had about a week off from your Mets gear. You clean it, you put it away until the Yankees are eliminated, and you're good to go. This is interesting because the Yankees did not hit at all. And I know there's going to be this whole get rid of Boone, get rid of Cashman. I understand this whole sort of let's change everything. This is not old school Yankees, but this was boom or bust, and they busted trying to hit home runs from a team that was just able to outpitch them, outduel them. I think, what was it, a 3-hitter, 1-hitter, whatever it was, they looked totally ineffective offensively.
Well, but the reason you just gave is why you can't bring Cashman or Boone back. First of all, you know how I stand on Aaron Boone, right? He doesn't know how to manage. He hit a home run, and everyone loves his name and everything. You decided to go boom or bust. And look, you made it farther than everyone thought you were going to. But the fact that you didn't see this coming at some point in the playoffs when pitching matters tells me you need to clean house and bring someone else who knows what they're doing. And Cashman, holy cow, you're about to lose the biggest star the Yankees have had since Jeter retired. Because you didn't sign him to a team-friendlier contract before the season started. You're about to lose your major, potentially only draw to that team. Get rid of all of them.
The Yankees were eliminated on Sunday. I've heard since then 5 teams that are now interested in him. Los Angeles will move Mookie Betts in order to get him. They've got the San Francisco Giants. They've got the Yankees themselves, possibly. Atlanta's been thrown into the mix. There's even been some sort of coup that the Mets would try to bring him over and stay there as well because, Cohen's got the money.
A reverse Gooden. It would be awesome.
I thought you were going to go to the handsome man with a beard bit because early in the season, I remember us talking New York Yankees when they were on that run. And you said this is a formula that's demonstrated in the past time and time again doesn't work in the postseason.
I mean, look, it's just how it is, right? Like, you're gonna run into complete teams. And we saw it at the end of the regular season. If those bats go cold, you are in serious trouble. And
the bats always go cold because they face better pitching.
And not only that, it gets physically cold, right? There's a science aspect to it. Yes, it was a disaster. You should have known from the beginning that as fun as it was to watch, as exciting as that home run race was for Aaron Judge, you had to have a way to win without just blasting home runs.
Can we speak to the World Series a little bit?
Listen, I have to root for the Houston Astros only because of my selfish Mets fan that I am. I can't have the Nationals, Phillies, and the Braves all win World Series championships in the same division as the Mets. So
I will go with the Marlins. You want the Marlins. Mets are the Marlins.
The Marlins, that's like a minor league team. Let's not even go there. But the Mets have the highest payroll, so they should be there, just like anybody else. I have to say Houston has overcome this sort of scandal thing, and they have great team chemistry. And that's the interesting part about this. Young arms, guys that have left, and they still remain successful. Altuve did not play well in that American League Series, and they still find a way to win. I don't know how they do it.
I'm sorry, did you say overcame the scandal? Overcame what scandal? What baseball fan doesn't hate the Astros still right now?
The Astro fans?
Okay. What I'm curious is how long do we have? They've been to 6 straight, American League Championship Series. They've been in the World Series, I think this is 3 times, maybe 4. You got to let it go.
Okay,
you got to let it go.
I'm going to talk about this in my unfinished business, but there is a great opportunity for Bryce Harper to go from a guy that everybody hated for abandoning the team that brought him up to everybody's hero. He became lovable again the way that he's been playing in the playoffs, the way that he's speaking candidly. And if you can go in and take down this evil empire of the West that everyone despises now, and he's got the Philly fanatic headband. Who doesn't love that?
Yeah, so you're saying it's not. It's still too soon. Yeah, we can't let go of this Houston thing.
It's not that we can't let it go. It's that Major League Baseball bunked it from the beginning. And we'll talk about it later in the show.
Yeah, well, I find it also interesting, too. There was a team called the New England Patriots who had a cheating sort of scandal that went away and still were able to win Super Bowl.
And everybody loved them. Oh, wait a minute.
This is the Rochester Press Box. We're talking Buffalo Bills next. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Our favorite segment because they're so good. The Buffalo Bills segment brought to you by Ralph Honda for 3 generations and celebrating 50 years as New York's first and oldest Honda dealer. Visit Ralph Honda today and find out how we do Honda right at ralphhonda.com. So, the schedule came out. This Green Bay game looked like one of the primo games. Not so much so the way the Packers are playing. And the Bills are 11-point favorites.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. Based on what's happened earlier this season, I thought it'd be more. The Titans came to Buffalo, same exact situation, primetime football at home against an offense that's fairly healthy right now, and they were 10-point dogs. Are the Packers only 1 point worse than the Tennessee Titans, who are leading their division right now? It should be. I was expecting to see 13 to 15 points at home. Aaron Rodgers' numbers are terrible. The offensive line in Green Bay is terrible. The wide receiver core in Green Bay is terrible. The coach and quarterback obviously have animosity towards each other, but Rodgers can't say anything because everything he's done over the last 3 years on and off the field has led to what this roster is. You made this bed. You are now being forced to sleep in it. And my favorite part about Rodgers so far this season is he's now speaking after games like he's the GM and he's trying to figure out what the problem is. Like you and your long hair aren't the problem right now.
If I'm
Long hair.
Well, I mean, he looks like an idiot.
Let me ask the question. If Green Bay had a time machine and go back and trade Aaron Rodgers to Denver, would they do it immediately just for the chemistry that's in the team? We talked about this with baseball and earlier. Aaron Rodgers right now, if I'm the Buffalo Bills, you sweep the leg. Just like Karate Kid. Just don't even go in there, dance around. You've been on a bye. They look terrible. They're not a cohesive unit. He's like bench players that are not catching the ball or on the same page. This does not look like a great relationship that they have. I think they might lose their head coach, if not Rodgers, maybe even blow the whole thing up. They can't get any offense going. The Bills, I don't know how. Bill is right. We started the season, I'm like, oh, that could be a great game, Green Bay. No, it's not. No, absolutely not.
But you could go to what Rodgers said, the philosopher king himself, Pat. It says that this may be just what we need, is to come into Buffalo.
And get what?
I will say this.
That's what he said.
Look, there are 4 things going into this game that if you're a superstitious Bills fan will make you nervous. Fun fact 1, do you know the Packers have never won in Buffalo? 0-6 all time as Packers in Buffalo. That's a problem. Problem number 2,
That's a problem.
Aaron Rodgers.
You're one of those over guys. Like
Well,
this is like if you flip a coin head 6 times, it's bound to come up tails in the 7th.
Well,
better than 50-50.
At some point.
Yeah, but
okay, don't start numbers with me. Problem 2, Aaron Rodgers has never been a 10-point underdog in his life. He's never been a double-digit underdog in NFL history. That's a problem. 3, he's never lost 4 straight games. And 4, the last time he was here, he was completely embarrassed. Bakari Rambo intercepted him 2 times, and the Bills upset them wildly. The stage is being set. The stage is being set for something crazy to happen on national television, and
here it comes.
It'll be the first game Sammy Watkins returns to Buffalo.
Oh my goodness!
Actively and play.
Are they putting together a highlight reel for
all the ghosts that are in the corner of the stadium? He just gathered them all together to believe this is going to be a closer game than it should be.
Every year there is a game for every dominant team where you go, how did they lose that game? The Bills have not had that game yet. I'm just pointing that out. And if Rodgers is right, if you're going to get right, do it against a juggernaut team on national television on the road. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying as a damaged Bills fan, it's in my head.
Well, certainly Mike Catalani used to, when he was on the show regularly, would always say, about teams that get the other team's best game. That's where Buffalo has put themselves now with the target square in the back. 11 points, how do you play it?
Look, the Packers are so bad right now. Like I said, I thought it would be 13-14. I think the Bills win, and I think they win by.
Sir?
Were you going to say 14? Because I was going to say 14.
I was going to say 20, but go on.
Oh, 20.
Yeah, I think
it's an early knockout. I think the Packers are just basically winding down the clock at the end of the 3rd quarter.
Good teams play well off their byes, which that's the one thing I think Buffalo has going for it. Well-coached teams play well off their byes.
If it wasn't for the bye, I would be more nervous. The fact that he's had 2 weeks to prepare, and if there's one thing that McDermott does really, really well, it's prepare. That makes me not as nervous.
This is the Rochester Press Box. Our Bill segment brought to you by Ralph Honda. Like it or not is next. Here's the Press Box trivia question brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Whoa! Fall fun and festivals, and a whole lot of pumpkins. Hello again, Mike O'Brien, your getaway guy. My next show will take you to an annual pumpkin festival like none you've ever seen before. Check out the Getaway Guy on Facebook.
Here's the Press Box Trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Thanks for joining us and welcome back here to the Rochester Press Box, our Like It or Not segment brought to you by Sports Clips, where the MVP experience is better than ever. Sport Clips, the pros in men's hair, no appointment necessary. Stop by a Rochester location today. Like it or not, this is sort of an either or. The Jets or the Giants?
Listen, I'm a Giants fan, so I love my Giants because I believe every single week that they have a chance to either win or lose.
But we know that you can be objective here.
But let me just say this. The Jets are a huge surprise. I can't say I would have saw this coming. Quarterback issues to start the season. Head coach under fire already, keeping receipts. The Jets have found a way. Unfortunately, with their injuries, this might be a little bit different for the rest of the year with their running back and their offensive line. But I have to say, I'm very impressed with the way they have fought this year. They're going to keep a lot of games close between the Jets and the Patriots, maybe even the Dolphins. Not that they've taken a seat back. But I have to say, I'm very impressed with the Jets. My Giants, it's just fun to watch.
Hey, Bill, I have something for you.
Okay.
A very smart, handsome, bearded man said on this show earlier before the season.
Making another appearance.
The Jets will not finish in last place in this division. I mean, it's not that surprising. You have a kid taking a step forward as a quarterback. I always thought Saleh was a good head coach. That being said, the Giants are the more sustainable model right here. You're getting good quarterback play where Wilson, you have a great running game where they just lost Breece Hall in New York for the rest of the season. Dable knows what he's doing, and he's winning in New York ways he didn't win in Buffalo. I didn't believe it the first couple of weeks. Watching the Giants play, look, you're not going to finish with 14 wins.
I'm a Giants fan. I still don't believe it, and I watch every week.
But, I mean, it's
that a rookie coach can have that kind of an impact.
Well, but it's a well-coached team. I think it says less about Dable and more about how horrible the coaching and GM staff were before they got there.
So, look, one more thing about the Jets. We don't generally look down the road, but the Bills are at the Jets after the Packer game. Are they a legitimate threat, do you think?
No, but it's a fun story for now, right?
Sure, so why not tell it? So, like it or not, innovative field. The new Frontier Field here in Rochester for the Red Wings.
I'm going to accidentally call it Frontier Field for the next 25 years, right? Like, that's the generational. You have to wait a full 25 years before people actually start calling the arena you've named it that thing. Because I still call it Rich Stadium, not even on purpose to be a jerk, because that's the stadium I grew up going to.
I have a lot of people that come to say, oh, are we going to the War Memorial? I'm like, oh, you mean Blue Cross Arena? I'm like, I know there's a generation that still calls it the War Memorial.
You know, we had it nice. I mean, Frontier Field was just such a nice sounding name. It could have been anything. We could have done worse.
Yeah.
Been innovative field, I think.
Well, it is funny. It does seem like a little bit of my childhood's going away, but I mean, Frontier Field was a giant corporate advertisement too. Like, I've seen people upset, like, how do you take away Frontier Field? It's just another corporation buying it away from a corporation.
And oh, by the way, you can still say the soccer field and know exactly where you're going.
Yeah. Look, you're media guys. Do you feel an obligation to call it that? I mean, for myself over years, I always thought, you know what, they're putting the money in, you got to call it that, winning if you can.
Well, with an asterisk next to it until Duffy said people realize what you're talking about. So they're like, Innovation Field, they built a new field, where is it? Well, it's where the old field was. But I think you do owe it to the new name of the
Because I always call it Blue Cross Arena.
Yeah.
Because I feel like,
that's the name.
They bought it.
Doesn't bother me. It's a stadium. It's a building. I don't care who's paying for it.
All right. Like it or not, brought to you by Sport Clips. Unfinished business is next.
Did they update Google Maps, though? Is that the question?
Yeah, very good question.
The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. McArdle's is open 7 days a week with dining available indoors and out, takeout and delivery. Come home to McArdle's.
Came now to Eichel. He floated one.
Like it or not, Mike Fiers and his role as sort of the whistleblower in the whole Houston Astros thing.
Yeah, my co-host was like going in on him about how you keep your silence. Or what's that thing they call in the Italian mafia? Omerta, is that what the thing, right? Like keep everything quiet. Anyway, Why would he not? Like, why would you not do
To get
this?
that right, you'd know, right?
I wouldn't know. You'll look at Bill?
I hope I didn't curse in another language. If I did, I apologize. But, no, I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, everybody is freaking out that he breaks this code. He didn't benefit from this in any way other than getting a ring out of it. But his numbers didn't improve. It didn't improve his ability to make money. And by the way, when it all comes back around, he's the one that's going to get in trouble. And if it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be somebody else. Like, Myers is not making an extra dime off of what he did or not doing. Like, his life would not change in any way financially. If anything, he hurt himself by opening his mouth like this, right?
Yeah. Too bad he doesn't have to step into the batter's box next year, because that could get interesting.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here in the Rochester Press Box. It's time for Unfinished Business, brought to you by the Genesee Brew House, your beer destination since 2012. Visit the gift shop, enjoy a tasting at our pilot brewery, and dine at the pub-style restaurant at the Genesee Brew House. Time for Unfinished Business. Pat, start us off.
Major League Baseball made a major mistake, because I'm sitting with the only two men who don't have negative feelings still towards the Houston Astros. 6 years ago when this all went down, and a year later when the investigation happened, Major League Baseball had a chance to drop the hammer, really send a message to teams that were going to cheat. It was proven. There's no guessing yes or no like it was for the Patriots for so many years. And Major League Baseball decided to handle it with kid gloves. It's over. You don't want to change the record books. Everything's going to be fine moving forward. Except it hasn't been, because there are still a lot of baseball fans that look at that team with major contempt and question what is going on within that franchise. Oh, by the way, they've been winning the whole time. Bill brought it up. 6 straight years in the championship series. How do you have a team that won that first championship openly cheating with investigations, players describing how it all happened, and you turn now, look at this and go, hey, isn't it a great story? No, it's not. It makes baseball look so bad, and it's not good for numbers when the evil empire keeps showing up every single year at the end. The best thing that can happen for Major League Baseball is for the Phillies to dominate the Astros, which probably isn't going to happen, and for the Astros to go away for a couple of years so we can all forget about what happened.
To Duffy's point, chemistry is really the key here. How much would you really pay for a team to make sure that they are ready to win, ready to play, and ready to hit in the fall of Major League Baseball? Number 1 payroll, the Mets didn't make it to the World Series. Number 7 payroll were the Houston Astros. Team chemistry, knowing exactly where you are, pitching, hitting, timely, all in the same spot. Now, I know what you're thinking. Same thing Duffy said, but they cheated. They got there. So many teams have been finding a way to sort of get around certain rules, like the New England Patriots, who took that cheating all the way back to the Super Bowl for a number of years. Why? Chemistry, coaching, being all on the same page. It works for the Golden State Warriors. It doesn't work for the Lakers. There's so many different ways in which a team can win. Paying money is number 1, but how much would you pay for a team that's that hungry to win?
So what's the big deal? A couple of referees talking to an NFL player, asking or not asking for an autograph. Appearance of impropriety seems a pretty weak charge. National Football League is pretty bulletproof, but the one area of constant concern is its credibility. And that starts with the referees. The specter of Tim Donaghy still looms over professional sports. Donaghy was the former NBA referee, was caught fixing games. We still know his name, and he served 11 months in a federal prison for that. When the Rochester Razor Sharks were in their heyday as a professional minor league basketball franchise, the team would customarily host a post-game party. And that day's referees were invited and invariably attended. Now, I get that in such a low-budget operation as the Premier Basketball League, a free meal is more than appreciated, and maybe it happened in the other cities too, but it was a terrible look. Terrible. Unjustifiable. Because as the saying goes, when you feed the dog, you own the dog. This is an inherent bias in the press box too. Professional teams provide the means to cover their teams in the media and treat the media pretty well doing it. They feed us. Detect a trend here? These teams expect, as a result, a softer journalistic approach. Maybe let some things slide. It's a moral dilemma that we've generally decided to live with. But once upon a time, the Boston Globe insisted on paying for its press box seat at Fenway Park to cover the Red Sox. Score 1 for the high road. So, while it may seem like a couple of referees chatting up a player after an NFL game is a non-issue, it's not. Because on and off the field, perception is reality. That's our Unfinished Business, brought to you by the Genesee Brew House, and that is our program. Next week on the Unfinished Business, I think I'm going to try to take the opposite side of you with the Astros after they win the World Series.
Oh, so you're going to do a wrong Unfinished Business?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Tariq. Closing comments?
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying?
That is so outdated. I was never happy with that one. Hey, thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box, and we'll see you again next week.
Works in NASCAR.
That's Rubber's racing. Rubber.